Hello and welcome to another video from Sustenance and Cover, the only YouTube channel you need to not only survive the current apocalypse, but actually enjoy it. And today we're going to talk about predator control, particularly predators that will eat your chickens. Now, 90% of all predators are nocturnal. These will be mammals that search around at night for something to eat. Now, as a general rule, they will come out a little bit before dark and still be around a little bit after dark is over. So as long as your chickens are inside of a secure chicken house during this time, most of your problems are solved. Now, an exception to this is when times are tough, predators that are normally only out at night will get up in the middle of their day and go looking for something to eat. That's why occasionally you'll see a raccoon or a fox or a coyote in your yard. Now, most of my success with keeping predators down is my presence. See, I don't have a job. And if you'll notice, most people that are successful with chickens are either retired or disabled, or for some reason or another are always home. And generally, the lower income ones are more successful because they can't shut their doors and windows. They don't have air conditioning and heat. And that's the way I live. I keep all my doors and windows open all year. That way I know what's going on in my yard, and plus just by walking around out there every now and then, whatever lives in my area knows who I am and where I am, and they stay away. And in general, if they come up in here, they still won't mess with my chickens because they know they don't want to mess with me. Every animal in the world recognizes its place in the food chain, with the exception of man. Man doesn't recognize anything about his place in the world. But we are predators, and we are the top of the food chain. Now, something you can do to help with those type of predators is get yourself a dog. There are several different types of breeds of dogs. Of course, there's thousands of breeds, but they're typed. One that you might be familiar with is a herding breed, and these are like sheep dogs. They will get used to their surroundings and get to understanding that the sheep that are in those surroundings belong to them. And they'll make it their job to constantly round them up. They'll always keep them sheep together. And if 2 or 3 sheep decide to go over here, they'll run over there and chase them back in. Well, that's good for sheep, but since chickens are not quite as organized as sheep, when dogs go after them, they just scatter. And so herding dogs will herd chickens to death. This isn't something I know from experience. I just happen to read about it. But most of the things I tell you are from my own personal experience. There's another type of breed called a guardian breed. These animals, dogs, and I don't even know what the different breeds are for them. I'm going to have to, when my dog passes on, find somebody that's got dogs and knows a little bit about it so I can get me one of them. But a guardian breed will sit there all day watching whatever's in the yard, whether it's sheep or ducks or chickens. It don't make any difference. And if something comes up there that don't normally belong there, it'll go after it. Now, just their presence alone will keep most things away. Predators, mammal predators, don't really use their sight as their primary means of locating prey. They use their smell. That's why dogs have a long nose. They have a whole lot more nerve endings or factor, whatever that nerves are that's in the dog's nose and tongue, to sense what's around them. And they know, like I said, they know their place in the food chain. So a raccoon will recognize that even though he is a predator of chickens, that a dog is a predator of raccoons. So he'll stay away. And the reason he's staying away is he can smell that dog. Mostly what he's smelling is a dog's urine. Everything on earth has got its own unique smell, and everything's urine has its own unique smell. So they won't go in there. Now, the only problem with this is that a dog is not the top of the food chain. So if a coyote smells dog urine, he's actually smelling a meal. He knows that a dog is below him on the food chain. If he gets hungry enough, he'll come up in your yard and eat your dog. Now, humans, as I said before, are predators and are on the top of the food chain. A very simple solution to making things stay away is for your own scent. to be out there where your chickens are. And so it's a good idea, whether you want to do it or not, to just urinate out there outside of the boundaries of where your chickens hang out. In fact, this is a good thing to do. If you're making a brush pile, always, if I make a brush pile and I can't burn it that day because it's too green, I got to wait for it to dry out, I'll either throw some of my sweaty clothes on top of the brush pile, or I'll urinate on the brush pile to keep rabbits from going in there, because rabbits they'll go in there and have bunnies in that pile, and when you light it up, you're going to burn them rabbits up. So this is just your place in the world. You know, most humans have lost an understanding what their place in the world is. Now, of course, if you have a job and can't be around, that's not really going to be enough. Just having them secure at night will not ensure protection from predators. They have to be secure 24 hours a day, because if your presence isn't there, you have to have a backup system. Now, I do not recommend keeping chickens in a chicken coop all day, all night for their whole life. That kind of defeats the purpose, because then all you can do is give them commercial feed such as corn, and that's not good for chickens. And you know, it's just very expensive to feed your chickens all commercial feed. It's a lot better if you can get them out there on the ground eating worms and grass and seeds. There is a way to do this, especially if you have a small flock. They make what is called a chicken tractor, and you can make one yourself. A chicken tractor is basically a small chicken coop with handles on one end and wheels on the other, and surrounded by chicken wire that you can move around in your yard. It doesn't have a floor in it. So you put your chicken tractor down, let your chickens out. They eat everything in there, the grass, the bugs, whatever. Next morning, before you let the chickens out of the main enclosure, you pick the end up, move it over 8 more feet, open the door, let them do the same thing again, and depending on how big your yard is and how many chickens you got and how many chicken tractors you got, you can actually give up having to cut your grass. Just let the chickens do it. Now, another type of predator that exists out there that does not hunt by smell is a hawk. Now, owls do the same thing, but if your chickens are locked up at night, owls won't have any effect on your flock. But during the daytime, if your animals are out, a hawk will come down and grab one. And a hawk, unless he sees you, he does not know you're there. Now, one way that you can fight against hawks other than a chicken tractor is to have breeds of chickens that are vicious. And there are breeds out there that if they see a hawk come down, will go after it. And a hawk does not want to get pecked by a chicken, no more than you do. The kind of breeds that'll do that, I don't like fighting chickens, but they'll do it, the roosters. And over here now, right now, I've got a white leghorn, and I've had leghorns before, different colors of leghorns, and they all seem to do that. When they get big enough, if they see a hawk come down, they'll go after it. Now, chickens have got a natural response that when they see a hawk, they'll make a noise, and you'll learn how to identify it. And if you hear make that noise, just run out in the yard, look around first, because normally the chickens will be looking the direction of whatever's scaring them. If you don't see anything in that certain direction, just look up in the sky. And if you got one big tree somewhere around there, that's usually where the hawk will land, and you'll sit there and watch them. A chicken will not get excited about a hawk until a hawk flaps his wings. If a hawk comes soaring over, the chicken ain't interested. But as soon as he does this, then they start making the racket. And in fact, to get this same response, if you take a paper sack outside and you just throw it up in the air a little bit, wave it around, the chicken will make the same sound as it makes when a hawk comes after it. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of other things to tell you. Oh, wait, I do. One of the worst predators out there is also the thing that I said earlier would protect your chickens, and that is dogs. Domestic dogs will always cause more problems with killing chickens than any predator, because predators have the full predatory instinct. They go in, they smell something, they go in and kill it, they eat it, and they leave. A dog knows he's supposed to kill. When he smells a chicken, he will kill that chicken, but he doesn't know to eat it. So as soon as he kills it, he thinks, what am I going to do now? Well, I'll kill this other one. And if you're not there, when you come home from work, every chicken you own will be dead. And in fact, that dog will hang around with that chicken in his mouth, waiting for you to come home with his tail wagging to show you what he did. You know, look, I killed all these chickens that was bothering you. Now, you'll find people that will tell you the best way to cure a dog of killing chickens is to tie that dead chicken around his neck and let him wear it till it rots off. And I've done this before. I can tell you for a fact that that does not work. That dog loves wearing that dead chicken around his neck. And in fact, when it does rot off, he'll eat whatever rotten pieces there are and roll in it. And keep, if you're not there, he'll go back and forth rolling in that chicken all day. He just loves that stinky smell so bad. So that don't help. Someone else told me to beat a dog with a chicken. And I've tried that. And the dog just looked at me like, why are you beating me with a chicken? That don't make any sense. So that don't work. The only thing that will cure a dog, once a dog gets a taste of blood in his mouth from an animal he killed, the only cure is to kill the dog. You can do what you want with that information. And I will tell you, I told you I beat them with a chicken and I've tied a chicken on their neck. I have never, and this is a fact, I have never killed somebody else's dog for eating my chickens. And I've had chickens get ate before. People have attachments to their dogs. It's like one of their family. And if they find out you killed it, then you've got a problem. But even if they don't find out, you know, it's just hard to do. Different situations demand that you make decisions about how you're going to handle it. I don't really have a problem killing a dog if, you know, if it'll stop them from eating my chickens, and if I know for a fact that that dog's owner's not around, or if the dog is there and I don't know who the owner is. But I've just been fortunate that I've never had to go that far. Now, in a survival situation, the first time you see a dog in your yard, even if he ain't interested in your chickens, you need to kill the dog just so you can have something to eat and don't have to eat your chickens. But for normal everyday, you know, you have to make your own decisions about what you're going to do. Now, a fence will keep a dog out. So if you put a 6-foot fence up, 4 foot of fence and 2 foot of barbed wire, you'll never get a dog in there. That'll almost solve your problem unless your chickens get out, which if your yard is small enough, the chickens will go out of your yard, period. They'll fly right over the fence and the dogs will get them anyway. People over the years have come up with the solution to that by clipping a chicken's wings. You don't clip both of them, you just clip one wing. So when the chicken takes off, basically it just falls right back to earth. So that cures your chickens of flying outside of the fence, but it doesn't. It causes other problems because there are predators that can go over your fence, like a raccoon. And a raccoon, who normally has no way of catching a chicken while it's daytime, will suddenly have chickens all over the place that can't fly. So, you know, every solution's got problems. There's pros and cons to everything. But that's just basically my understanding of things that I've done over the years, tried and failed, tried and worked. And everybody's situation is different.